This is the unsolved story of one of America's most infamous serial killers.
For the man known as the Zodiac Killer.
The Zodiac Killer.
The psychotic killer has already murdered 5
and will commit yet more.
The name Zodiac came from a series of letters that the killer wrote and sent to the local newspapers, taunting the police in their inability to catch him. He also came to be known by the symbol that appeared in the letters that he wrote.
Zodiac, a symbol that now stands for terror in San Francisco.
The killer's official victim count is 7. However, they claim to have killed a lot more people than that. In the last letter written by the Zodiac Killer, they actually claim to have killed 37 people. However, no one knows if this is actually true. The first official victims of the Zodiac Killer were 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen and 17-year-old David Arthur Faraday. They were attacked on December 20th, 1968 on Lake Herman Road within the city limits of Benicia.
A double homicide involving victims were a 16-year-old girl and a 17-year-old boy.
The couple was on their first date and were meant to attend a Christmas concert at Hogan High School about 3 blocks from Betty's home. Instead, the couple visited a friend before going to a local restaurant and then driving out to a secluded turnout that was well known as the local Lover's Lane. A little after 11 p.m., a woman named Stella, who had been driving by, spotted their bodies and called the police. When the police arrived, they found Betty Lou dead at the scene from 5 gunshot wounds in her back. David had died from a single gunshot wound to the head. It is believed that the killer shot at the windows of the car to flush the couple out. It appeared that Betty Lou exited the car first, but when David was halfway out, the killer shot him in the head. Then he continued to shoot Betty Lou 5 times in the back as she attempted to flee. 7 months after this attack, the Zodiac Killer struck again. And these killings just get more and more mysterious. Just before midnight on July 4th, 1969, another couple was attacked at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, just 4 miles from the Lake Herman Road murder site. 22-year-old Darlene Farron and 19-year-old Michael McGew had driven up to Blue Rock Springs and parked their car. Shortly after, another car pulled up behind Darlene's. The driver got out and shone a bright light into the couple's car as he walked up to the passenger window. Initially, the couple thought it was a police officer, but they quickly noticed that the man was pointing a gun at them, and without warning, he began firing, hitting both Darlene and Michael multiple times each. As the killer started to walk back to his car, Michael cried out in pain. The attacker then turned around and fired several more shots at the couple before returning to his vehicle, driving to a payphone and calling the police himself. The operator said that the man spoke in a slow, monotone voice and said that he would like to report a double murder. During the call, he also confessed to killing his earlier victims on Lake Herman Road the previous year. Darlene was pronounced dead at the hospital, but fortunately, Michael survived the attack despite being shot in the face, chest, and neck. He described the attacker as a 26 to 30-year-old white male with light brown curly hair. 26 days after this couple was attacked, the first letters from the Zodiac Killer were being delivered. I imagine the Zodiac Killer having a similar mind to the Riddler in Batman, the way that he pieced all these letters together. 3 local area newspapers received an envelope containing a handwritten letter and a coded message. The handwritten letter provided details regarding the 2 shootings and said that the coded message would reveal his identity. The real mysterious, creepy, aggressive part is that the letter ended with a warning.
If you do not print this by the afternoon of Friday, the 1st of August, 1969, I will go on a killing rampage Friday night. I will cruise around all weekend, killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again, until I end up with a dozen people over the weekend.
At the bottom of the page, he drew a circle with a cross through it that is now known as the Zodiac symbol. The newspapers took that threat seriously and printed the letter and coded messages as he demanded. Detectives and amateur code breakers alike scrambled to break the cipher. Hundreds of tips came in from helpful citizens, including a couple who actually cracked most of the puzzle.
I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise and all the people I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for the afterlife.
Talk about wicked, right? He literally gets a rush from killing people. He thinks it's a game, and then he thinks killing these people that they'll serve as his slaves in the afterlife once he passes. That is just insane. Now, less than 2 months after the second attack, the Zodiac Killer struck again. 20-year-old Brian Hartnell and 22-year-old Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa when they were attacked by a man wearing an executioner's mask with the Zodiac symbol on it. He approached them and held them at gunpoint, telling the young couple that he planned to rob them. However, he tied them up and then suddenly stabbed them multiple times with a 12-inch knife. After he stabbed them, he walked back up to the hill to the car park and drew the Zodiac symbol on Brian's white car with a black marker. He then wrote September 27th, 1969, 6:30 by knife under the symbol. At 7:40 p.m., the Napa County Police received an anonymous call, again from a phone booth only a few blocks away. The caller spoke, again in a slow, monotone voice, saying, "I want to report a murder. No, a double murder." He then provided the location of the murder and said, "I am the one who did it." Unfortunately, Cecilia died a few days later from her injuries, but Brian did survive. Less than a month after that third attack, the Zodiac Killer attacked again, this time in San Francisco. On October 11th, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein's body was discovered in a cab where he had died from a gunshot wound to the head. 3 witnesses had watched the murder from across the street and called the police. According to the witnesses, the killer was last seen standing at the driver's side door using a piece of the victim's blood-stained shirt to wipe the surface of the cab, possibly trying to wipe away any fingerprints. Police believed this murder to be the result of a robbery turned violent. However, a couple days later, on October 13th, the San Francisco Chronicle received a new letter. This time, the letter from the Zodiac Killer contained a piece of Paul's bloody t-shirt and claimed credit for his murder. In the letter, he also threatened children, saying they make fine targets. As a parent myself, that sends chills down my spine. He claimed he could wipe out a school bus one morning. Just shoot out the front tire and pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out. On November 8th, 1969, the Zodiac Killer mailed a letter with another secret code consisting of 340 characters. The code remained unsolved for over 51 years until it was finally deciphered by an international team of private citizens on December 5th, 2020, just a couple years ago from the time of this recording. The message, however, gave no further clues to the identity of the Zodiac. Eventually, the letters stopped and the Zodiac Killer disappeared, never to be heard from again. And the identity of the Zodiac Killer still, till this day, remains unsolved. If you haven't already seen them, the Zodiac Killer inspired the influential 1971 action film Dirty Harry, which starred Clint Eastwood, and it was also the subject of the critically acclaimed David Fincher dramatic film Zodiac in 2007. Give those a watch if you still want to scratch this itch. If you enjoyed hearing this case with me, give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more horror and crime-related content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next case.